Welcome to Soltron. This is a video review for Metal Cardbot Black Hook. And here's a size comparison. You can see he's much bigger than Voyager class. He's definitely what would pass as a leader class figure now, probably a little bit bigger. And he's one of the bigger sized guys. He's about as big as this guy. Let's get a quick look at his box. You can see it's pretty typical window box with a clamshell. Really cool artwork on it. One interesting thing they did is they made the cannon of the ship blue, and then the hook is a gold color, so it's kind of backwards from the actual figure. And then he's got a cool action pose of him holding his cannon, which when we go over the articulation, you're going to see that's not really possible. And then another action pose. Now he's holding it with two hands. So pretty cool looking action pose. We'll see if he can do that. Yeah, really good shots of this figure. I think he's pretty similar to his animation model. I don't see a lot of obvious differences. His shoulder pads are definitely more upright instead of just being vertical or horizontal. So that's a big difference, but that's about it. Maybe like missing a little bit of red accents here and there, but not much difference. Instructions are just this regular newsprint. And then we get a 360 shot of this guy, and he is really stylish. He definitely reminds me of a Mega Man X boss. But yeah, he's got a lot of cool features. I think they really went above and beyond on the pirate features. He's got this cool little cape, and then he's got like a frilly shirt even with a little gem in it. But yeah, I'm actually kind of not sure how I feel about this design. I actually really like it. And on the same token, I also feel that it's kind of plain for some reason. I'm not sure. I just can't quite get behind it. But overall, I'd say it's kind of like 7 or an 8. Definitely above average for sure. Very stylish. We get a close look at this head sculpt. You can see he's got a gold eye with a white pupil in it. And then he's got a red patch eye, which has some kind of detail. It's just a little slot. There you go, now you can see it clearly. And of course he's got his 3-point captain's helmet and a mask over his face. And you can see it would have been nice if the little gem was like a clear plastic, but it still has really good paint work, so it's still looking really sharp. And even the gold paint on this guy is, I think, one of the better gold paints. I think Hasbro uses kind of like a brown gold paint, and so does Takara. And I think this gold plastic is actually better than the plastic that they use, even though it's kind of cheap looking too. But definitely better than like the brown they use for Black Zarak. But yeah, he's overall really good and got a lot of paint details. But yeah, he's very clean, no kibble at all. So yeah, as far as accessories, he does have this arm cannon. And like on the box, it shows you that he's like holding it with his other hand, but his arm can just not cross his chest. That's not going to happen. And then because it's attached to his shoulder, there's no way this forearm is going to go up and actually support the cannon, unfortunately. You'd have to detach it. You can see it's slotted in right there. You'd have to like detach it, and then he can get off this kind of pose. Unfortunately, it would have been nice maybe if it clipped in here somehow so he could actually do that pose, or if it slid in there. Oh, I realized I forgot to deploy his little visor for the photo. So this comes out, and then when you clip it onto his shoulder, that visor basically covers up his missing eye, and that's how he looks and lines up a shot pretty much. But yeah, that's a cool feature. It doesn't quite line up with his eye. It's a little bit too high and to the left, but you can still easily pretend that's actually happening. And then the other pose, he had like both arms holding the cannon, which he can sort of do. He can't quite cross it. If there was like it'd be nice if he had like a peg or something so he could actually hold this in his hand. Then you could really get a cool cannon pose like this, where it'd be pegged into this fist, and then this fist would be holding it. But yeah, This just doesn't peg into his hand at all. And they probably do that so the other robots can't use it. But it unfortunately takes away some of the play value, because if you just had a slot right there or a peg, he could hold that. But yeah, that's enough about his cannon. And it's hard to tell, but this is actually, if we open it up, this is actually like a clear plastic. You can't, it is translucent. You can see through it right there. So it is like a smoky, kind of greenish, really dark green plastic. And then the other accessory he comes with is this anchor, which is pretty cool. You really gotta hit all those pirate themes. I really do like a robot with a cool anchor axe. You don't really see that very often. The other thing you can kind of do with it is, I guess, if you fold it up into its transformation, you can kind of like hook it into his hand here, and you can pretend he's got this hook hand, I guess. It's kind of silly, but why not? It's something you can do. And then the shaft of this is kind of weird because it gets thicker, so it's a little bit awkward for him to hold it. You do have to use a little bit of force. There's only a little bit of friction holding it in, or you can just have this hook weapon, which also makes sense. And then as far as articulation goes, he's got a really good neck joint, and he's even got like a neck under there, which is kind of hard to see, but he's got a black neck shaft, so you don't even see the ball joint, which is very nice. And then he does have 360 on the arm. He can't really do that when the cannon's pegged in. And then if you unpeg his backpack, you can get like this backwards butterfly joint a little bit, which is a transformation joint. And then another little feature you can do is you can raise his backpack, and he's got these missile launchers. So that's kind of cool. And then he does have bicep swivels, which is a nice surprise. You saw he's got this transformation joint for the wrist, and that's about it. And then he's got no waist articulation. They could have easily worked that in. These are even separate pieces, or they could have put it in his chest. That also would have worked. So they could have easily done that because all the plastic is separate. And then he's got these really soft thigh swivels, which is kind of a problem for a guy this size because these are actually very loose. So the thigh swivels actually ends up being an issue for posing. He's got full forward kick, full backward kick on spring ratchets, full outward kick. Probably, yeah, he can get even higher than 90 degrees. And then he's got almost 90 degrees on his knee. Well, actually, that's probably, yeah, that's almost 90 degrees. And then you can see, because of how floppy this is, his leg is just going to do this. So it could have used a little more tightness, or better yet, a ratchet, because this guy's pretty big. And then for his feet, he's got no articulation there. He's just got the transformation joints for his toes and his heels. That's about it. I guess that could be useful. But that's about it on his articulation. So he can get some decent posing, but because these are so loose, it's going to be a little bit hard for him to like hold the pose. But you can get some really good action shots out of this guy if you can get his thighs to cooperate with you, which is the hard part. But yeah, for transformation, we're just going to sandwich his legs together. We're going to point his feet down first and then close up his heels. And then you're going to take this front cannon, and that's going to peg in right in that slot right there. So you're just going to peg those into the toe holes, and then you can sandwich everything together. And then you're just going to raise this sail, and that's already half your ship. Done, easy. And then you're going to just click up his knees, raise his waist all the way, and then you're going to disconnect his backpack, which is held on by a clip. And this is going to end up down here instead. And you're going to rotate his arms, and then you fold the elbows backwards, and you're going to fold up the fists. And there you have one side of the ship done, and then you just do the same thing with the other side. And then you're just going to bring the arms all the way back, and they're going to sandwich together too. And then for his head, unfortunately, all you do is turn it around. I checked the directions, I checked everything. It would be nice if this would have like hinged up at least and covered his head at least. Of course, the best thing to do would have been for his head to just push into his chest. But if this would have came up and covered his face at least, that would have been something. But yeah, his head is just right there. And so are his fists. They didn't really try for that. And then you're going to rotate these panels, And you can see these tabs are just going to tab into this. So you just have to line this all up correctly. And then just friction that into place. That can be kind of hard to line up. Okay, and then there's those panels. Oh, they're not quite lined up correctly. Okay, there we go. So now it's all clicked into place. It's nice and flush. And you can see he makes a pretty good pirate ship. On this side, you got like the scar through his eye to represent his patch eye. And on this side, you get a regular eye. But yeah, it's pretty decent looking pirate ship. He's kind of like a Greek ship because it has big eyes on the hull. And then you can see like this whale hunting harpoon or something in the front. And then like the shark detail on the sail. And then I forgot about his cannon. So his cannon, you're just going to fold these pieces down. And then you just recline the front cannons. And then that's his metal card. So you just attach this to that. That's going to peg in place. And there's his metal card with his cool art, with his awesome looking anchor, which I think probably would have been cooler if the anchor, if the weapon part was gold. So it is weird that they reversed the colors and they made this gold instead of this part. So odd choice. I don't think I really have any Cardbots ready, or Carbots. But here he is next to a tank. So you can see he's significantly bigger than your Voyager class tank. You could even put on maybe like a deluxe figure could just hang out on the prow here. I think Scorponok here, or Sandstorm, or whatever his name is. He makes a good pirate. And then like with this back section, I guess you could have somebody sit there. But yeah, he's a pretty fun figure. I don't know how I feel about pirates. Maybe that's why this isn't really working for me. The alt mode is okay. I think that actually the alt mode is really good. It's a really good representation of a robo pirate ship. But yeah, I don't know. For some reason, this guy's just not clicking with me. But I got him for I think about $70 after shipping from Soon on eBay. That's my usual eBay seller, like $29.35. I think Soon $29.35. Pricey, but good solid figure, great quality, except for the loose thighs. Yeah, if you're looking to get this figure, I think eBay's your way to go because Gmarket, the shipping is still very high. But anyway, I'll see you in the next one.